Our next storyteller has been here before. She is our local treat. Her name is Lisa Pearson. She's a great writer, great storyteller. Please give a warm welcome to Lisa Pearson.
It's about time. This story has sex in it, okay? Okay. Good love is hard to find. You can screw your whole life up loving the wrong person. It's like planting a weed and expecting it to give you ripe fruit. I definitely do not have the green thumb. A few years ago, after my pseudo-divorce, I was ready for romance again, this time online. Unbeknownst to me, the one and only person I dated on Match.com had several relationships spinning at once, even while driving 6 hours each way to date me and claiming I was the chosen one. I found out a little too late that I was not as special as I was led to believe. I took some time, refined my profile, and then tried OkCupid, which had a more exotic and titillating reputation. In Julie's OkCupid profile picture, her smile was warm and sincere, her profile a bit vague, but she was a teacher, so that was good. In retrospect, she kept herself camouflaged. I am from the West Coast. She is from the South Side. I should have projected it would never work. She preferred her house near Sox Park, so that's where we would spend time. After a month of home-cooked dinners at her butcher block tables, some scouting of Mexican treasures in Pilsen, and meeting her extended family, we started spooning on her candy apple red couch. Sipping lime LaCroix in between Pinot Grigio and Passion, we became girlfriends, at least my understanding of the time. She never thought she'd find someone as smart and funny and understanding as me. Her cats adored me, which made her jealous. Her sleek giant Siamese would jump on the bed and nuzzle me when we were done with being horizontal and she left the room. She casually mentioned a past long-term relationship with a woman in Peru. They saw each other once or twice a year, and they talked as often as possible. It ended the last time they saw each other a year before. Several months later, we celebrated an early and passionate Valentine's Day. The next night, she texted me she was completely in love with me, and she was breaking it off with Ms. Peru for good. I was confused. I thought she was single. Did I make it up in my head? She said she chose me over Ms. Peru. She did not want to just be friends with me. I'm still clueless. Is this an online thing? You profess to be loyal to someone, yet there's someone or two or three on the side? Did I misunderstand the rules of dating online? Were there any rules at all? And then she said she wanted to break the news to Miss Peru in person. Gently. It was the right thing to do. I was bewildered. She said they'd meet in Mexico over spring break, and she'd tell her it's over in person. Hold the phone. You're going on vacation with someone you already told me was an ex to break up with her? In Cancun on spring break? In the same bed? It dawned on me I was the mistress with the warm bed in Chicago while her wife was 3,500 miles away. When I came out of my daze, I quietly said, "No. You figure out what you're going to do and let me know in April what you decide. I won't be number two." And I said goodbye and hung up. Good answer. I was stunned and proud of myself. I figured that was it. I wouldn't hear from her. Relationships are like glass. It's better to leave them than to hurt yourself putting the shards back together. But then she called me back, begging me to understand. "You're the one," she said. It's just that she and I have been together for years. She would be mortified if I left her life completely. Julie said she would call her right now to end it by phone. And she texted me when it was done. I had to believe her, right? For Valentine's Day that week, I sent her favorite daffodils, shards of gleaming sunshine in the bleak winter. I considered a traditional rose bouquet in a heart-shaped vase, but it seemed too FTD. I sent the daffodils without a card to her school where she wasn't out of the closet. She didn't mention receiving the flowers that day or the next or the next. She was an excellent cook, and she invited me over for dinner that weekend. She asked me to claim her body there and then at the door because she was mine. I met the challenge. Finally, I saw the daffodils. She said she didn't know if they were from me or Ms. Peru, since there was no card. Was she teasing me? And then I saw the other vase, red and heart-shaped, filled with red roses sent from Ms. Peru, but I pretended not to notice. I was working on an adult relationship after all. The daffodils were fabulous, but the winner was the tacky, FTD, heart-shaped vase with matching roses available worldwide. Julie and I toured my homeland of San Francisco for spring break as a couple, and I tried to block out her first choice of Mexico with her ex. She told me they remained close friends and they could talk whenever they wanted. I couldn't stop her. Again, I'm working on learning those adult rules. What could I say since she broke up with Miss Peru for me? So there was this constant flora of Spanish by phone and by text. I finally gently asked if we could have no phone nights when it was just the two of us. She told me I was too sensitive. I questioned my own logic. Gaslighting can be fun. A few months later, my father lay on his deathbed in palliative care in San Francisco. Julie, it's her name, Julie. You met her. We went on a double date. I know. Julie and her teacher friends had planned a vacation to Mexico for 6 months, and no, I wasn't invited. She told me she couldn't communicate much while on vacation. In adult relationships, people openly state their boundaries and needs. I was letting my father go, but she reminded me that she hadn't met my father and there was something she could do. I didn't want her to change her plans. I just wanted phone calls to check in and raise my spirits. She sent me a couple texts. I spied on her Facebook page looking for signs of Miss Peru. She shared a video of her drunk friends performing a mermaid water show. The moment you start to wonder if you deserve better, you usually do. After Dad's passing, Julie and I continued our relationship routine, but I was wary. A year later, my mom started to go downhill with dementia in a big way, and I had no choice but to place her into assisted living, and I had to rent out her empty house to pay for it. I flew back to Chicago because Julie and I were going on vacation to Panama, where she wished to retire. She'd shown me maps and expatriate blogs and promised a great time. During those few days before our departure, I was overwhelmed by my mom's traumatic circumstances, and Julie was distant. I finally told her I didn't think I should leave the country when everything was so up in the air with my mom. Now, there were several proper reactions possible. You need to be there for your mom. Let's cancel the trip. Or, I'm so sorry about your mom. Let's postpone our trip until you're ready. Or, you know how important this trip is to me. Do you mind that I need to go alone while you take care of your mom? But certainly not. Since you aren't going, I'm taking Ms. Peru. I'm not kidding. Considering they were no longer an item, I was surprised that they would make plans together so quickly. The joke was on me. Good love is hard to find. I had sublet my Chicago apartment because we were going to Panama, so I had nowhere to go but Julie's until I could fly back to San Francisco to help my mom. For 3 days, I endured phone calls in Spanish between my girlfriend and her true love, making hotel package plans, plotting their rendezvous. She packed camisoles I had never seen and hummed beautiful songs I did not understand. I was trapped in a snake pit of infidelity, a lack of empathy, and a language I could not understand. I finally told her it was all fucked up, and she told me I was mean. Back in San Francisco, as an only child fulfilling my obligations, I oversaw the chaos of relocating my mom and an estate sale gone horribly wrong, the soulless gutting of 60 years worth of possessions. When it was finally done and Mom was settled in, I came back to Chicago to begin again. Julie texted me a few months later. Ms. Peru had moved to Chicago permanently and they were getting married. That's so sweet of her to tell me. And in February, I sent them a wedding gift from FTD, a white lilac bush made of dragon glass. I attached a hopeful and positive quote, of course. I didn't receive a thank you card. She texted later that she found some of my underwear and pajamas. I asked her to mail them to me. She texted she threw them in the trash and drank all my wine. Sometimes the person you take a bullet for is standing behind the trigger. Finally, I realized I was never asking for too much. I was just asking the wrong person.